North Devon is home to popular spots like Croyd and Ilfracombe. Selane Saxby is the Conservative MP there.
It's a huge issue, and I think some of the immediate issues that we're seeing here in North Devon are actually in the private rental sector, where I have a number of constituents who, through no fault of their own, are being evicted, and they are now unable to find a new private rental because there are no private rentals left on the market. And so they are an immediate concern for us, because over the summer they have probably 8 weeks left to find accommodation, and they are people who work here in our community. There's a difficult balance to ensure that local residents and local families and people who want to come and work here are able to afford to. We're delighted to see so many people coming to North Devon, but it has, with so many people moving in, put real pressure onto the housing market, and particularly where we are seeing people push the price of those houses up and then not be living or working in the community full time, is actually creating a shortage of housing for local people.
What do you want done about it?
In the short term, we're looking at, what levers there might be available locally with the council. But in the longer term, I have raised this with the Secretary of State and with the Prime Minister directly within the planning bill. Are there opportunities to try and restrict the number of homes that can be sold for something other than a primary residence? So really to put a focus on building homes to make sure that local people can work in the area, and also to find a better way of managing the holiday let market so that we know how many properties are being rented out, and that we make sure that if people are changing a home to a holiday let, that perhaps a change of use application is required, so we can really be more confident that we have enough homes for local people and also for people to work in the tourist sector, because people come on holiday because we have fantastic restaurants and bars up here, but if we haven't got anybody to work in them, it becomes a slightly more challenging place to be.
The talk of change of use applications, presumably lying behind that is the thought that you might deny that change of use and say, look, this has got to remain as a primary residence.
I think there is a need to manage the situation. The balance has just tilted. So we've always welcomed second homeowners up here. But villages like Croyd are over 60% second homes now. And that then means in the winter that the pubs and restaurants potentially don't have enough customers locally to keep them open. We end up with sort of ghost communities. So I think it is to get that balance. So it's a management tool, I'd hope. And I think it's what the community and our visitors alike actually would like to see moving forward.
The challenge is, of course, the laws of unintended consequences, isn't it? Because I think there have been attempts to play around, for want of a better phrase, with this in Cornwall in terms of planning applications. And you've had builders saying, well, look, if we can't sell to people who don't live here, we're not that interested in building. And that is another challenge for you, isn't it? It's trying to foresee the impact of things that haven't really been tried before.
And I think that is a real challenge, and that's a conversation that a number of us did have with the Secretary of State last week, and he's very aware of looking into unintended consequences, which is why nobody's rushing forward saying this is the solution, because we're well aware of what happened in Cornwall, and that's why I think some of these things perhaps need to be done on a more national basis or the full coast, because obviously you can move building along the coast if it's just one place doing something different. So it's trying to get that balance right and really think through what are the potential unintended consequences, because that, as you rightly say, comes with its own issues.
The MP for North Devon, Selane Saxby.